Welcome back to another episode of Chop It Up Radio, where we document all walks of life, shedding light on the importance of community. And with that being said, parenthood is one hell of a job with two parents. So going at it alone can be a serious task. And I'm saying that to say this. On today's episode, we're going to be chopping it up about what it's really like being a stand-up single dad. Not just a single dad, but a stand-up single dad. We're going to put emphasis on that because you don't really hear about these issues and these topics too much. And that's what we're going to be chopping it up today about. And on today's show, we have a special guest by the name of Michael Anderson. And Michael Anderson is a full-time stand-up single dad. I'm bringing you guys this today, okay? So this is the topic. I brought us full-time single dad on the show. He's 66 years old. Yes, 66 years old. So for the past 10 years, he's been raising 3 kids for the past 10 years. Yes, 3 kids for the past 10 years. So without any further ado, introducing Mr. Michael Anderson, better known as Silky. What's up, brother?
Top of the evening to you, Shafi. How you doing? Glad to be here.
Yes, sir, man. Well, we're gonna be as natural as possible, man. And I brought you on the show today because, we're friends. And we have conversations quite often, right?
I'm sure you know that as well as I do. So
we have conversations a lot of times, man, because we're both full-time stand-up single dads. A lot of times our conversations are about just that. It's being single dads, doing the single dad thing, you know what I mean? And we've pretty much given up everything to be single dads. And so today, this is why I'm bringing you on the show, because as a single dad, I think we all have like amazing stories on how we became this way. It's like fingerprints, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has a different story to tell, or it's like a fingerprint. Every fingerprint is different. So I brought you on, brother, because, you got an amazing story, and I think it needs to be heard. And not just heard from the angle of, some people will say, oh, they're just complaining. Women been going through this for years. That's cool, but we're not just doing that. Okay, we're not just coming from the story about how you got here, but we're also giving out information to other upcoming single dads on what they can do to probably, when they go through the court systems and what they need to do to win their kids in a situation like yours or mine. So, before we get started, brother, give us a little background on who you are as Mr. Michael Anderson, Silky.
Well, first of all, I try my best to be a stand-up dad because I didn't want to be the man my daddy was. And I come up out of New York City, and I'm basically trying to be an entertainer. I've been doing that for many years. I've done Ali movie with Will Smith. I've done Beyonce videos. I've done a few things, juvenile justice law, acting parts and of that nature.
Okay.
And into doing that also, I created, like I said, every man has wishes and thoughts and dreams of having a family. So when that came into play, it kind of like stopped my entertainment.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Because I've had children.
Okay, so let me ask you this, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I can see where you're going. But let me just ask this question to lead you into the direction which I think you're going. What happened? Let's get down to the nitty-gritty, man. What happened in the relationship with you and the kid's mom that caused you to become a full-time single dad? What happened?
Okay, what happened? I was being very, very kind to a young man that had 3 children. And I felt for him because I have 3 kids, and I know how hard it is to.
Right. What I'm saying, but even before that, like, what happened? Like, you were in this relationship before you met this guy?
Oh,
let's talk about the beginning. We want the nitty gritty. We want the full story, man.
Okay, well, when I met the young lady, she was very nice at the time, as they normally would be. And during that time, I was, really serious about her.
Was there an age difference?
Well, I don't think.
I mean, because people are going to want to know. You're 66. You got 3 kids. She had to obviously be younger than you.
Oh, yes,
to start having babies.
Yes.
So let's. So it's all good on this show.
Yeah. Shit, it was age difference, and.
And what was that? What was the age difference?
Well, she was maybe the first child we had. She was about maybe 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, full grown woman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave her opportunity to let her know that I know that you are going to make mistakes because you're young.
Right.
So I didn't fault her for that.
Mm-hmm.
I understood that. I even gave her a leadway. But I told her, just don't make a fool out of yourself. Don't get played.
And this is in the beginning.
Yeah.
This is before y'all had kids or whatever?
Right, before we had kids.
Mm-hmm.
I know she was young and I had to lace her.
Okay.
But I couldn't help her on the mistakes that she would make on her own. So through the process of me and her being together, she'd made a number of mistakes. Mm-hmm. But you'd streets talk. Mm-hmm. So I'm hearing things about her messing with this guy, messing with that guy, right? Mm-hmm. Which I expected. She was young.
Yeah.
But then, in the process of her still being with me and with me knowing that she was doing these things, I man up. Like I said, she was young. She had to live her life, So I let her go out there and test the waters. Mm-hmm. So, but after having children,
right,
when she have kids, I thought that would change her way of thinking, that she wouldn't have to have my way of thinking for me to think for her. I would think that she had kids, if she wanted to be a decent woman, she'd have to respect her children. And that's not about me. So she's raising kids now. So in the process of us having one child, and that was my daughter, Halea. Okay?
We don't have to say no names, by the way. That's up to you.
Okay, well, I would love to say the names because I'm proud of my kids.
Yeah,
As a stand-up dad,
all right. Yeah.
There's no shame in my game.
Yeah.
So my oldest daughter, Halea, which is now 17. Mm-hmm. But at that time, I was thinking that, that she would kind of like look at it as I have a child, I have a daughter. And for her to be a decent woman, any decent woman would want to have the child. I mean, what I'm saying, Shafi, is that a woman that has a child, I think she would want to change her mind to want to be a decent woman, like a stand-up woman, like we're talking about the stand-up guy.
Correct.
Okay, so I think she would be a stand-up woman and kind of like cut all the playing to the side. Okay, she didn't do that. So she continued on playing. So I was getting a little hot about it, right?
Okay. As you should.
Yeah.
Especially since you are the head of household of the house. You're obviously probably paying the bills and bringing in the majority of the cash flow and things of that nature. So, obviously you should be a little hot.
Well, I'm going to be, like you said, this is Chop It Up Radio, and it's keeping it real, and I'm going to keep it real. I had an uncle that was very fortunate to be a boss man at the Longshoremen, and he had broke up from his wife, and he needed my assistance. So I came and lived with him. 4 bedrooms, swimming pool, bellflower, everything was very nice. So I know that the way she was living over there on Broadway on the east side, that, I've seen roaches, rats, and all kind of trash that was over there in that area. So when I started to live in Bellflower with my uncle, I took her along with me.
Oh, okay. That must be way before y'all had kids then.
Way before we had kids, right.
All right.
Okay, so you would think that the environment that we was in, my uncle was working 17 hours, and I was taking care of the house myself. So she was there with me.
Okay, so let's fast forward back up to you've had the first kid. She's still kind of playing and doing her thing. Then the second kid comes, which is your son. Okay.
No, the second child is my son, Michael Anderson. Mm-hmm. And I got kind of fed up with me hearing things about her doing things in the streets. Okay? So I know it was going to be a rough ride, but I wasn't going to give up because of the sake of my kids. If I had to be with my kids until they got grown and I didn't like what she was doing, I would stay there for the sake of my children to keep the family together. And she didn't cooperate then. And then we had a third child, Nyla. Okay, so now as the 3 kids are involved, we moved to Palmdale from Bellflower.
Right.
And then I met the young man that had 3 kids also.
Where?
In Palmdale.
In the same apartment complex?
In the same apartment complex. So when I met him, he was telling me about he was going through changes, and I said, brother, I'm willing to reach out and touch you because I have 3 children myself, and he had 3 kids too. So I brought him to my house, and he was kind of down and out. I gave him baby formula for his child. Matter of fact, I even fixed breakfast and took it to him and his girlfriend in the mornings because we stayed in the same apartment buildings. And lo and behold, next thing I know that she was taking me downtown one day. And I called her, told her I was ready to get picked back up. She had dropped me off.
Wait. So basically, this person you met, this young man, when you say was he staying with you? Was he living with you?
No, he was living in another. He was staying in the same.
But you said you just invited him in your home. You kind of give him some food. You kind of helped him out a little bit.
Yeah, because he had 3 kids.
Right.
And I had 3 kids.
He wasn't living with you.
No. He had his own place. Him and his girl had their own place.
Okay.
And he was going through changes with his girl.
Okay.
So I was trying to give him a little advice that, it's not going to be peaches and cream all the time. Mm-hmm. I was an older guy than he was, so this is not my first go-round with children. I have a 47-year-old daughter also. So this is not my first rodeo with children.
So what you're saying is that when she took you from Palmdale to downtown, she dropped you off.
Yeah, she dropped me off. I was doing a little shopping.
Okay.
So, and lo and behold, she did a turnaround. I called her to come pick me up. She said she wasn't going to pick me up. So I went back to the house, and the house was empty. Wow. And so I was calling the same guy that I helped out to come help me out. But lo and behold, he was the one that was the perpetrator.
She done ran off with the...
She got with him.
So he left his girl, she left you, and they ran off.
Yes.
With the kids.
Yes, with the kids.
But he didn't take his kids, obviously.
No, he didn't take his kids. He was...
Oh, wow.
He was... I live a fancy type of lifestyle. I like flamboyant things. Mm-hmm. And he's seen the way my setup was, right? And he wasn't fortunate enough to have enough common sense to stay down with his family. So he was so enthused by my family and what I was doing and how my setup was in my house, he probably wanted to live that type of lifestyle. And I didn't know that my girl at the time would even be that low to even do something like that. I mean, like I said, I brought the man to my house and thought that he would be, a little more considerate if she did do something to show him that I'm hitting on it. She's hitting on him. He would tell me, "Hey, brother, your girl's hitting on me. You've been a nice guy and you took care of my kids. Your girl tried to hit on me." None of that. And I thought.
That's the stand-up thing to do. That's something I would do. I've actually done those things before. I've had, friends of mine's girls hit on me in a certain way, which I thought was inappropriate. That kind of shit actually pisses me off.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm close to you, like you were one of my really, really close homeboys, and my boys liking you for real, and y'all been together for a while, and you do something real slick. That's, to me, is so fucking disrespectful, man, and it pisses me off to where I'm gonna definitely, put him on. Like, look, man, or I might not say nothing just because if nothing's happening, I might keep it amongst myself. But at the same time, I know what she's about, because sometimes when you say something, the person that you told gets mad at you and then will start blaming you for shit. You know what I mean? So sometimes you gotta play it by ear. Hold on. But I wanted to keep the story flowing, man. We know what happened. So basically, she ran off with this guy. She was going with this guy. Did they stay here in California?
Well, yeah, they was living in Palmdale. Like I said, when it happened, they had moved out of the apartment that I was living in, and he was living also with his girl in the apartment, but different apartments. We stayed in the same complex. And
wait. So when they ran off together, they stayed in the same complex?
No, they moved out of the complex.
Oh, okay.
See, when I got back from downtown and caught the metro, because she didn't pick me up, I caught the metro.
They was gone.
Well, the house was empty, and they was gone, but they still stayed in Palmdale.
Okay.
In another apartment building somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But the main thing, what I really would like to say to let the viewers know, that not only that, we're talking about a stand-up dad, and what made me become the stand-up dad is because I seen what my kids would have to go through if they stayed with their mother, and the kids was coming down telling me certain stories about their mother.
Right. So, and this is why they lived in Palmdale. Now, I don't mean to cut you off. I just don't want to move too fast. This is why they lived in Palmdale, because I know for a minute they was in Arizona for a while.
Well, this was a little down the line. See?
Okay.
They stayed in Palmdale. See, this is a long story. We might have to do another episode of this.
Okay,
here.
let's go. I'm not gonna cut you off no more. So okay, so the kids was coming down, and I think that was my next question anyway. How did you get your kids? What was the process? So now the kids are starting to. And how old are your kids at this time, man?
Okay.
How much time went by when they first left until you start really having contact with your kids? How much time went by?
Okay, I don't want to leave this out. What really made things really bad is because I didn't know what we were breaking up for, what she was doing. And when I found out, like I said, I called him up to help me out, to help me get myself together. And then I went to his apartment to knock on the door. And then his girl said that she seen her man with my girl, helping her move. And she thought that I was there too. And then she had called me the next day and said, I think your girl's with my man.
Oh.
Okay? So I called him up to reach out and touch him, to ask him, why would you do me like that after I tried to take care of your family? And why would you destroy my family? So I guess two birds of a feather flocked together, because she wasn't no better than him.
Right.
Okay? So once I found out that they were together, I took and initiated, separated myself, and came back down to L.A. And so she did a few things to me that was very harmful and hurting to me for doing my kids the way she was doing them, because they came and told me some stories about they was surprised that they seen daddy's friend kissing mommy. That was the first thing. They was shocked. Okay, then, like I said, she told him that would be your father. This is going to be your father now.
Oh, no.
Okay?
Oh, no.
And so she came down to L.A. to let me see my kids. And only realized she let me see my kids because she was getting ready to move, and she had to have someone watch the kids so she can find a place. So at the moment when she had brought the kids to me, she had let me keep them for maybe a couple of days till she was looking for a place. So my kids was telling me certain things about how he had a lot of company doing drugs. They seen a spoon and seen him put stuff in the spoon, and they told me they were so hungry. What really killed it, they told me they were so hungry. There wasn't nothing in the cabinets, nothing in the icebox. Only thing that was in the house was dog food. Hard dog food.
Don't tell me they was eating the dog.
They said they were so hungry, they bit the dog. They each of them had it by the dog food. And she had heard about it, and she had tried to call me and said, you're telling people that I fed my kids dog food. I said, no, I didn't tell nobody that you fed your kids dog food. I told them that my kids, that they were so hungry that there was no food in the house, that they had to eat some dog food.
Same goddamn thing to me.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Same goddamn thing.
So when I heard that, I called Children's Services. That broke the camel's back.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I called Children's Services.
Yeah.
And Children's Services told me to go downtown and get a court order. Because in case she called the police and want to get the kids, that I would have some kind of credentials to show that I did it the legal way and went downtown and got a court order until we go to court and let the judge be the judge of who's going to have these kids, because I wouldn't have my kids come back to their mother knowing that the condition that she's in with that guy that's doing drugs. You see, because he was my friend first, and I didn't want to put his business in the street and tell her, oh, the friend that I brought by, he's on drugs. So that wasn't a part of telling her anything about him. So she didn't know. So she was a late bloomer on what he was about. She thought he was Mr. Casanova and was going to be better than me.
But he was a dope fiend.
He was a dope fiend, you see. And then he was in jail and everything, and she's calling me, telling me she needed the lights cut on, the lights are off. She needed food for the kids. And like a father that I am, that's why I say I'm a stand-up dad, I cut the lights on and was bringing Western Union $50 to $100 every other month to her whenever she had a problem, because she put the kids in front saying she needed money for the kids. But it was also not true.
You was doing it for your help your kids. So man, what was the process like? So after you called Child Services, let's go through the process and the steps it took. Because like I said, obviously you're on the show because you're a single stand-up dad, so you obviously have your kids now. So what was the process like when you found out all this shit, man?
Oh man, brother. I mean, I'm telling you, boy, it seemed the odds was against me, from the lawyer telling me that he's not for the woman or not for the man, he's here for the kids. And brother, she had missed 4 court dates. That's the only way I got my kids, because if I'd have missed 1 court date, they would have requested her to have the kids. Wow. So to make a long story short, I kept going to court. She never made it to court because I guess she was embarrassed to know if she had got to court. It wasn't me.
She was on dope, though. That's why she wasn't going to court.
Well, I don't know if she was on dope or not, but, if she wasn't on dope, he had so much influence over her life.
Yeah.
Because she wouldn't have did what she did. I mean, you don't trade your kids in for a man that didn't have a job and didn't have nothing to offer her.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So when I went to court, this lawyer named Spiller, the courts had told me that I'm to let Renee Hall see the kids every other Saturday. Okay, I was doing that. We met at the police department to exchange, there with the kids, So, and I don't know why that happened, because the grandmother was abusive to the kids, and the mother and the mother's boyfriend, which is Jamal. Okay, I'm gonna put him on blast. His name is Jamal.
Now, who was that? The guy that?
That's Renee's boyfriend.
Okay.
Now, and after that, when she came to exchange and I let her see the kids, it was going on for maybe about 3 or 4 months where she would see the kids.
No, so you weren't going to court and stuff. She wasn't showing up to court. So let's get back to that.
Well, what I'm saying, as we were going to court, we had a court order for her to see the kids every other Saturday. So one Saturday, she had 6-hour visits every Saturday. Every other Saturday, you get 6 hours for the kids, and she's supposed to bring them back to the police department. So what she did, the last go round, she didn't bring them back. She kidnapped them. She took them to Arizona.
Oh,
and I waited 6 hours, and I said, this girl is not going to bring my kids back. So what I did, I went to the police department and said, this woman has the kids. She's supposed to have a 6-hour visit with the kids. She took them to Arizona. And how I found out she took them to Arizona, my son had snuck in the bathroom and got a hold to his grandmother's phone and was in the bathroom and called me and said, Dad, we're in Arizona. Mommy took us.
Yeah.
So that's when I went to
and that lets you know right there when the kids is really calling the dad. Because my kids did me like that. When I broke up, not to cut you off, I'm going to let you go on, but I'm real quick. Side note. when I broke up with my kid's mom, when they overheard me saying I was leaving, they came to me.
Yeah.
They said, "We coming with you." They call me Abu. "We coming with you, Abu."
Same with me. They said, "Daddy, we want to live with you. We don't want to be with mommy."
Yes.
You know, they seen too much going on, and like I said, it wasn't a choice of me trying to get my kids. Now, if I didn't know anything about it, my kids came to me and told me the story. They didn't want to be there because I guess it was a nightmare for them.
So what happened? So you said Michael called you and like, did we in Arizona? So
yeah.
After that,
and I called the police department. I went to the police department on King Boulevard in Dinker. And they called Arizona to see where the mother was staying at. The mother was so cold where my son had dialed 911 and the police had came to her house and she said, no, that was a mistake or something, right? Mm-hmm. And how I got him back is that she had to come for a court date for us to go to court. This was another court date that we were supposed to show up in court.
In L.A.? In
L.A.
Okay.
So that's how the kids came down. I had a friend of mine that stayed upstairs from the grandmother. So I told him, if you ever see my kids, let me know. So the day that we were supposed to go to court, it was a dark day. They had canceled, wasn't no court. But so when I was down in the courthouse waiting to go to court, I found it was a dark day. And I got a phone call. I was in line because I was going to tell them that this woman kidnapped the kid, so she probably wouldn't show up.
Wow.
And when I was in line to get ready to do this process, I had got a phone call, and the guy said, man, your kids are over at the grandmother's house. So I dialed 911 and called the police and told them to meet me on Jefferson at wherever the grandmother was, right? Mm-hmm. So when the grandmother, we had pulled up, I called the police department, I parked my car, called the police, wait for them to come. I had called a friend of mine because she would know my car, so he had picked me up. And so we were sitting in the apartment waiting for the police to show up. So when the police showed up, they knocked on the door and asked, was the kids in there? So the kids came out running in my arms. So that's how I retrieved them back. But lo and behold, if it was me had kidnapped the kids, I'd have been locked up.
Oh, yeah. She didn't go to jail?
She didn't go to jail at all.
Oh, man, that's some bullshit.
She didn't go to jail at all.
That's some bullshit.
And so when the kids, they ran and hugged me and got my arms right, I was staying with a friend of mine, Michael Wilcox. So I was staying with him because, like I said, she left me homeless. You know, like I said, she abandoned the house. When I came back to the house, like I said, she wasn't picking me back up. So once I was out in the streets because I became homeless. Like I said, I didn't know when I was coming downtown to get a pair of shoes, and I thought she was going to pick me back up, and we was going back home. She didn't pick me back up, but like I said, it must have been a turnaround. When she dropped me off that morning, she must have went straight back to Palmdale, and that guy that she's with was waiting for her. They had a plan. Yeah, they did have a plan because she had went to the department. The managers told them that she was moving. That was 2 weeks that I didn't know nothing about. So when I came back to the house, I didn't have no action on seeing anywhere.
Right.
And what it was, my clothes was in the closet. That was it. I had an old gangster car, 1941 DeSoto, in the garage. All the kids' toys was in the garage because I had, Tonka toys.
She couldn't take all that shit.
She couldn't take all that, but all that had to be moved. So I had paid the guy $50 because he moved in the apartment that I was in, so the garage was his too. So I gave him $50 to hold all my kids' stuff. And I called her up and said, at least you can get the kids' things out the garage. I gave the man $50 for you to hold my kids' stuff. She didn't care nothing about that. Okay? So all the stuff that I tried to retrieve for my kids,
couldn't get it. So, all right. So now, we know you called the police on her. They retrieved your kids.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go into a different little area now. What you've been a single dad for about 10 years. So obviously you got your kids back, man. You've been to court. You fought this woman, and she, like you said, she never even showed up. So you got full custody of the kids. She's probably and they haven't even talked to her since then, right?
Since then,
yeah. So she's probably doped out. Ain't no telling what she's doing. But anyway,
excuse me, not cutting you short. She has 2 more kids.
Oh, okay.
By him.
Okay. Well, that figures.
You see.
Yeah, they got to get some money somewhere.
But let me tell you the killing. Then let me tell you the cold part about this here. Now, this might sound foul, but when she had played on me, and he thought he was playing me. He had married her. Okay, and then she came down after she married him, and came down and had abortion, and I had to take her to get the abortion.
Wow.
Okay, so I thought she was trying to be back with me, but all the time she was playing, because she didn't get back with me, but she said we was gonna be back together. Okay, so
I wouldn't want to be back together with her.
okay,
Ugh.
right, but
Yuck.
look, for the sake of the kids, but they didn't.
Fuck that.
But the kids,
Sometimes that'd be more detrimental for the kids than being together with somebody like that. My mama told me that shit years ago, and I stayed with my kids' mama for 19 years when it was more detrimental to my kids seeing that a relationship in play as opposed to now.
yeah, I was with her for 13
When-
years.
yeah, so-
13 years,
yeah.
and I only known him for 7 months. So the 13 years of work I put in, I laid the gravel for him to travel. See, because he laid on my bed. He didn't put nothing in the house. He had nothing to offer.
Okay. So let me ask you this, man. What are some of the real challenges of being a single dad? You know, like, because I know what I go through. You know what I mean? So you got 3. So what are some of the challenges, man? You know, your stress, your anxiety, you know, homework. you know what I'm saying? Like, what you've been having these 3 kids for, I don't know, I think it's been a little bit over 10 years now.
Yes.
Yeah, so what are some of the challenges, man? Because when you got them, you got 3, and they were pretty young, especially your baby girl.
Well, the challenges is the finances, because they do want things. But as far as the challenge, it's not really a challenge, because it's a pleasure taking care of certain things you do. That's why, you know, when you say a stand-up dad, you don't have no complaints about your children. You want them happy. Because, see, like I said, I don't want to be the man my daddy was. I never seen my father. He never took care of me. So I had to step up to the plate, and it was a pleasure, because when I do for my kids, I do for myself. Because if I didn't have my kids, I might be in the streets doing other things and get into a lot of trouble. You know, so the kids kind of like help me be a stand-up dad. Because, you know, like I said, man, it's a pleasure when I walk my kids to school and people that hadn't seen me, don't even know me, come out their door and say, I've been seeing you walk these kids ever since I live here, and I see you walking with these kids every day. You're doing a good job, young man. Even the school teachers, and they knew my situation, you know, and it was hard because I didn't have nowhere to stay. Like I said, we had about $10,000 in the bank. She took that. So I'm in the streets with nothing. And when my kids came to me, I had nothing. I was staying in Compton in Inglewood with my daughter and her boyfriend, and we were sleeping on the floor. And that's when I called Children's Services. You know, like I said, man, it was a hard situation, man, but through the grace of God, man, I withstood. Like I said, I just took step by step. But going through the court system, man, brother, I advise any young man that's out there that's trying to get his kids, you better be on the one and be serious about loving your kids and being faithful to your children, being faithful to God. Because that's the only thing you're going to get it on, a wing and a prayer, because the courts are not for giving the men the kids.
Right. Do you ever worry whether you're doing a good job or not?
Oh, no, I know I'm doing a good job. That's, you know, like I said, the strength I have doing this such a good job is through the grace of God. Because, like I said, every time I do things, the blessings just come in abundance. I mean, I have friends that come and give me something like you, Shafi. I couldn't have bought clothes that I desire to have, and with you blessing me with giving me certain things that you gave me, that kept me being able to give money to my kids or get them a football uniform or get my kids' hair done.
Right.
You know, help like that. With I didn't have to spend my money. Other people reach out and touch me because I was doing good things. You know, I mean, I didn't know I was a stand-up dad until people was telling me I was doing good things. I thought that was the way to do it. You know,
right.
A father's supposed to do.
And, you know, saying that, man, you know, this next question, like with me, I'm going to put it on me first. And I'm not saying this in a negative way as far as even with me. Sometimes, I feel like I'm a disappointment. And I'm going to tell you why sometimes. Because I feel like I wish I can give them more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know the
you know that feeling when you can't give your kids what you really want to be giving them, man. And so, do you ever feel like that, man?
Yes,
like,
I cry at night.
Sometimes,
I cry at night, man. because I see other kids when I go to my friend's house and they have the PlayStation, and we don't even have no PlayStation. We don't even have cable. You understand me?
Well, I purposely don't have no goddamn cable. It's some bullshit anyway. You don't. Yeah. It's a good thing you ain't got it. But go ahead.
Yeah. And I just feel so good about being raised by my mother, and she was such a sweet woman and told me all about God and how she treated me. I just know how to treat a child, because I know when I was neglected as a child that I wouldn't want to do my kids the way I was brought up. I grew up with a stepfather, and so I really didn't want my kids to be with this guy that she's with. It would have been a disaster, man. And like I said, my kids, when they told me they had to eat dog food, brother, that was it.
That was it.
That was it.
Let me ask you this, man. Do you ever see? Because you got 2 daughters. Let's remind the audience about that. You got 2 motherfucking daughters, and you know that's a whole another story to begin with. But do you ever seek help from other females in your family when you don't have the answer that your daughters need?
Oh yes, I have a young lady named Lena Purcell.
And you got other daughters too that's older too.
Oh yeah, I have 7 daughters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And like I said, the same go round with this woman that with these 3 children that I have, it was basically the same thing about the same situation, but maybe a different type of way that we broke up. But I was always a dad that would be there for my kids. I never abandoned my kids and left a woman,
But how do you seek the help for your daughters, though, man? That's the thing.
Well, that's all through the grace of God, man. Like I said, the Lord has hands on me. I don't know how it happens, but it happens. So I have to say, mine is done on a wing and a prayer.
When they have them questions that they only want to talk to a woman about.
Well, Lena Purcell, like I said, I've tipped my hat to Lena Purcell. I've been on her since the 70s, and she was a fine young lady because I knew her mom. Her mom was a stand-up woman, going to work, and I never seen a man in her house. And if she had a boyfriend, that's what she had, one boyfriend. And, like I said, I always, when you're in that ghetto, brother, you always look for the best when you don't have anything far as good raising for yourself. So you always look at the next door neighbor with the good car, the brand new car, the child getting a car for graduation, which I never was able to get. Not that I was jealous about it, but I was kind of like, well, why can't I have these things? So I made sure that I would put myself in a position if I ever get kids, and that's what I did as a young man, had that dream of when I have kids, I'm going to treat them the way that next door neighbor treated their kids, because I couldn't get it out of my house.
Okay, so obviously, so good. So you have that female help when you need it, obviously, so that's taken care of. Because I know with me, I have 1 daughter, but sometimes, man, I don't be having the answers. And I'm harsh. I'm like a male, so it's like I come from that military style upbringing. I have coaches all my life, hollering and yelling at me on some military type shit. So sometimes I need a soft touch, and I get that from female friends, or sometimes I get it from female family members. But we all get overwhelmed. What do you do as a stress reliever, or what do you do for a break, man? You know what I'm saying? Because I know that when you got these kids 24/7 all the time, and you just don't have an outlet, what do you do for a stress reliever? So,
well, sometimes I don't do anything. Sometimes, like I said, it be done on a wing and a prayer. When I get stressed, it seems like someone like Narissa Matheny, Claudette Matheny happened to just pop up and say, I'm taking the kids. I want to take the kids somewhere. And my niece Narissa,
back to them female family members coming through, baby.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I tip my hat to Narissa, the Matheny family. That's my family, also. And Narissa's my niece. She does a great job at being a role model for my children. Her and Claudette Matheny, Narissa Matheny, and Lena Purcell. Those
great
are the
family. Those
are the 3 women in this situation that always come through.
I happen to know that
always
family.
Come
great,
through.
Great family.
Always come through for me, man. And like I said, if it wasn't for those three, they takes a lot of stress off of me because, you know, my kids, sometimes they be in the house and I know that I can't do the woman thing. And when Claudette Matheny comes around, Narissa comes and pick up the kids, and Lena Purcell picks up the kids, it really, really helps me out. And I be telling myself, God, what am I going to do? Oh, like you said, it's a stressful thing. You know, what do you do? Hey, man, sometimes you don't have to do nothing but be still, and God will do the work for you, but you got to work for him. You
right.
got to work with him.
That's right, man. So, have you ever been judged or criticized the way you raise your kids?
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. But in a positive way though, because when, like I said, when that stress come in, you know, sometimes Lena tell me, Michael, don't holler at the kids in front of everybody. Pull them to the side, you know, because like you said you had that militant thing in you, and you kind of like, you know, do it the manly way, right? And my excuse is always, well, if you had to deal with them every day, see, you just seeing this one day. But if you had to deal with them every day, pressure, bust a pipe. That's my famous word.
Right.
But, you know, like I said, it hurts me more than it would hurt them when I do that. Because, like I said, I cry at nighttime when I think about, I shouldn't holler at my son like that, you know. And when he's sleeping in the bed, I just look at him and, you know, look at him as he was the baby, like my mother said. I said, Mom, I'm a grown man. You gonna always be my baby. I look at my son when he's laying down, sleeping. I mean, not to be, you know, like.
I do that. I do that all the time, bro.
You know, I look at him when he's sleeping, man.
I've been doing it since he's been a baby, watching him grow.
And then I look at myself, and I want to kick myself in the butt sometime because I think I said, this was the baby that you raised now. He's gonna get enough in the streets of what you're trying to give him now. So try to do it in a more humble way. Be a little more considerate that he has feelings. You don't want to hurt him.
Yes.
So I don't think,
or break his self-esteem,
right,
man.
But see, like I said, my brother, it don't take me a day to think about it. It takes a second just to realize that, man, you wrong, Michael. So I punish myself because it hurt me more than it would hurt him. You think he be hurting and think he be angry, I can kick myself in the butt sometime because I wouldn't want to be treated like that, and I should know better because I got treated just like I was treating him.
You mean as far as like verbally kind of saying stuff you feel bad afterwards?
Yeah, right, exactly. But see, I catch it in a second.
Yes.
See, but how I was treated, it went on for years.
Yes.
They didn't give a damn, period.
Yeah.
You know, but see, this is my blood here. This is my son.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't want to be the one. See, like I said, we all have to answer the Lord. We all have to answer that man up above. Mm-hmm. So if I don't do right, so that's why I say I don't go to no man now. I get on my knees and ask God. And I say the only three things that I see in my life that's helping me out with my kids, Lena Purcell, Claudette Matheny, and Narissa Matheny. You understand me? And not leave my daughter out, Destiny. She's 26 years old.
Yeah, because I called you a couple of times, like, what's up, man? You coming through? We're going to do the show tonight. You were like, my daughter's coming to get my kids. Hold on. Or no, she's dropping off her.
Oh, she's dropping off my grandson. Yeah.
So I know y'all got that relationship. So you can't leave her out. We can't leave her out.
And not Destiny, because Destiny, like I said, when Christmas time was coming, when I wasn't with the mother and my kids was coming down for a visit, my daughter Destiny would come and bring presents. And she would bring presents to, I have to give a shout out to my buddy John Soul, his Aunt Mildred, we call her Aunt Mildred. She'll be 100 years old June 4th. June 2nd, she'll be 100 years old, guys. And how when I got custody of my kids, they said I had to have my kids have where they're going to live. And I tried to look all around for where my kids going to stay, because like I said, I was homeless myself. Mm-hmm. So Miss Mildred, she said, she told the children's service people that they can live here. And she had a nice 4-bedroom house, nobody there. And it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have been able to have my kids because I had to have somewhere for them to stay.
Man, yeah. So it sounds like you said, there's always that moment where you're blessed. Like you don't know where it's coming from, but then because, you know, you're a good brother, man, good guy. And these kind of things happen to me as well. So as long as you're putting that type of energy out there in the universe, it seems like it always comes back 10 times more. Would you consider this, meaning fatherhood, single dad, being a single dad, the hardest job you will ever love doing? Let me say that one more time. Would you consider this the hardest job you would ever love doing?
Well, I think this is the most easiest job if you're dealing with the grace of God. It makes it so easy when you are heavenly blessed by the best. You know, like I said, you can hear a lot of negative, but when you hear these good stories, it's what you have to feed yourself, feed your brain with the good thoughts.
Yes.
You know, and it's not like a job. It's like it's always lunchtime. You know, it's not a job. It's a feeling of like a blessing to be able to be blessed by the best. Coming up from the ghetto and seeing your mother being raising you. I never knew what ghetto was because I had everything that I needed because of the blessings of feeling the Lord in you with the strength of Him. Man, ain't nothing hard. Ain't nothing hard. That's why I don't understand people that say, oh, these kids and this and that. No, it's you. Get yourself together first. If you got 4 brand new tires and they get flat and you still continue to roll on them, I guess you're going to have a bumpy ride. Change the tires and put some in. I bet you'll be real smooth. So, and before you get into this kid thing, well, you have to really, you know, like I said, do your homework. Remember how you was when you was a kid.
Right.
Like I said, remember the next door neighbor that didn't have nothing.
You know, like my mom always told me, when it come to raising kids, it don't come with no book. You don't have a guidance book to show you what to do. You know what I'm saying? We don't come with no instructions.
Right.
It's a learning process day by day.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what first of all, you have to learn your kids, first of all. See, certain parents are so busy on the job and being frustrated with other things to where they can't be humble with the child because they are frustrated about other things. It could be a boyfriend. It could be the job. You know, and you come home and the kid might not took out the trash, but you holler at him, take out the trash. Boy, I told you this. I told you to do this. I told you to do that. See, and that's what I had to learn myself. So don't feel like the long stranger when you people doing it. I'm not knocking you, but see, this is something that we have to get together as parents. Because in order for you to expect the kid to respect you, you have to respect that child too.
That's right, man. So, all right, I'm gonna ask one last question, man, before we get out of here. And this is kind of off topic, but at the same time, it could be on topic. I usually ask this question to a lot of the people that I interview, in general, whether it be homeless people or people that I interview in the studio here. If there is one thing you can change about the world, what would it be?
Prejudice. Let's not make it a color thing. Let's do what Martin Luther King said. And you say that for me, Shafi. The continent.
Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead. Don't put me on the spot because I'll fuck it up.
Okay. Okay. What I'm saying is that we didn't get 40 acres and a mule. It's been 4 and some years, maybe 507 years of slavery, right? And and these days and time now, since things are not segregated, you can drink in the faucet that the white man drinks out of. It's a funny thing the way things have changed, and like I said, I can't change it. It's going to change anyway for the better of me not to even say it, because black is so dominant in sports and so many other things where they have to have us. So I would change that prejudice thing. Let's all get along, like Rodney King said, could we all get along? And we should change our thoughts and way of thinking about color line. It's not about a bloodline, it's about a love line. It's not about a color line, it's about a love line.
Say it one more time.
It's not about a bloodline or a color line, it's about a love line.
Okay.
Because like I said, each one teach one, and like I said, I'm glad certain people have woken up to the fact that we all have to live in this world together, and we answer to one God and one God only. So all you people who are out there that's being negative about certain things and don't want to do this and don't want to do that and want to down people that don't have anything, I think you should raise your head up to the Lord and see that you have a problem, not them. See, we know what their problem is. We want to know what your problem is when you have everything and still being bitter and still being prejudiced and angry towards people. So, you know, you guys get together because the underdog, I'm for the underdogs because I was an underdog myself. And the only thing that picked me up was the Lord. So I tell you, underdogs, you don't have to worry about nobody picking you up. To get on your knees and pray to God. Certain things you got to pay for, but certain things you have to pray for.
Man.
Preach.
Yes, preach, my brother. And with that saying, you guys, Silky, man, I just want to really thank you for blessing us tonight with your story about your single fathership or father or single dad, you know, situation. Like I said, I know that I have so many friends, personal friends, that are full-time single dads, man, and I'm talking like, I'm gonna bring these stories, but I'm talking like really spectacular fathers, man, you know, doing great things. And the mothers are nowhere in the picture, by the way, in most of these cases. So I really appreciate you coming through tonight, blessing us with your story. And ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe to the station, comment down below, hit the like button, share the video, and this will be a segment that I will continue to do. I got a lot more stories that needs to be heard, and once again, I just want to thank Mr. Michael Anderson, better known as Silk, for coming on board, man. And any last words you would like to say before we get out of here?
Yes, I thank you for having me on board, Shafi. And if it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be me, because it wouldn't be heard without the word of you, because you have the channel, you have the station. So I really appreciate you bringing me on, because I've seen you, like I'm in your house right now, and I see you with your 2 kids in the back there, and you've been taking care of them. I came to Shafi when I was down and out and tell him about my situation. Then he came to me and told me about his situation. Now we're both in this situation, but it's a good situation because we have our children, y'all. Now, where are the women at? We're not worried about that. We have our children.
That's right.
Okay, now if the women get right, I don't mind her seeing her kids. But I can't tell the kids, do you want to see your mother? They tell me no. But I would really like to tell you people out here that Shafi is doing a wonderful job, and I'm glad that we have a station like this here where we could talk about stand-up dads. And we're not downing you mothers, because we got some stand-up mothers too. We're just talking about this topic of us right now, because we are the ones that's taking care of our children.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's just not a common topic. It's not heard a lot, so we want to bring attention to it, because believe it or not, there are more single stand-up dads out there than we can imagine. So our goal is to bring that situation to the light and bring a face to that situation.
Yes, because we always have people talking about these dads. Ain't nothing. But when the dad do something, we don't get no credit. Nobody talk about the stand-up dads. That's why we have to bring this to the forefront.
I totally agree, Silky. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. Again, hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe. And on that note, I will chop y'all up a little later. Peace.